The sky over Ukraine has no mercy. If you crossed the border in armor or on foot, your countdown has already begun. Modern warfare has stripped away the very concept of a safe zone. There are no longer any sanctuaries, no hidden positions, and no lines on a map that can offer protection. What the enemy faces today is not just a defensive force, it is a fully integrated, automated matrix of absolute observation and immediate destruction. Every square meter of the operational theater is a potential grid coordinate for a lethal strike. The psychological weight of this reality is the first thing that breaks the invading forces. For decades, military doctrines relied on the idea that numbers, mass, and physical structures could hold ground. That illusion has evaporated. It does not matter what material shields you, whether it is a reinforced concrete structure, a deep subterranean position, or the armor plate of a heavy vehicle. When the entire battle space is transparent, survival becomes a mathematical impossibility. The enemy's vanguard is no longer fighting for objectives. They are merely occupying space until the inevitable point of conversion into a casualty statistic. This transparency creates a profound sense of isolation. When every movement is logged, analyzed, and countered within seconds, the traditional mechanisms of command and control fall apart. The leadership of the occupying forces is operating in a state of perpetual delay, reacting to disasters that have already occurred rather than executing a coherent strategy. The result is a slow, grinding disintegration of morale. The soldiers pushed into these forward zones are fully aware that their existence is visible to an unseen watcher, and that every decision they make is being monitored by an adversary that operates with surgical, unemotional precision. Movement on the modern battlefield has been transformed from a tactical necessity into a fatal error. Any attempt to accumulate mass, to form assault groups, or to initiate a maneuver is detected long before it reaches the line of contact. The moment an engine starts or a formation begins to advance, the process of targeted liquidation is initiated. It is an asymmetry that the invading forces were completely unprepared to handle. They are forced to operate within a paradox. To attack, they must move, but to move is to die. This total suppression of mobility has forced the enemy into a state of structural panic. We see the degradation of their assault tactics in real time. Heavy armored thrusts have been replaced by disjointed, desperate rushes, using whatever assets are left available. But changing the platform does not change the outcome. Whether it is a multi-million-dollar main battle tank or a lightweight civilian vehicle adapted for the front line, the vulnerability remains identical. The precision of the defense does not care about the thickness of the steel or the speed of the advance. The weapon systems deployed against them hunt with absolute indifference to the nature of the target. What we are witnessing is the systematic dismantling of the enemy's operational tempo. An army that cannot maneuver is an army that is already defeated. They are locked into static positions, unable to reinforce their breaking lines and unable to withdraw without exposing themselves to catastrophic losses. Every single asset brought forward is consumed by a relentless fire matrix that operates 24 hours a day. The field has become an insatiable furnace, absorbing their equipment, their manpower, and their logistical reserves, returning nothing but smoke and failure. The crisis is not confined to the zero line, it has crawled deep into the enemy's rear. An army is a complex organism that requires a constant, uninterrupted flow of resources to sustain its violence. But the modern defense has severed the arteries. The logistical network of the occupying force is in a state of absolute collapse. Every supply route, every intersection, and every transport corridor has been mapped and put under permanent interdiction. The rear is no longer a safe staging area. It has become a killing zone where the lifeblood of the front is systematically destroyed. The impact of this logistical strangulation is immediate and devastating. When fuel trucks, ammunition transports, and support vehicles are incinerated miles away from their destinations, the frontline units begin to starve. This is not a conventional shortage, it is a structural famine. Artillery pieces fall silent because the shells never arrived. Specialized equipment becomes useless because there is no fuel to power the generators. The basic requirements for survival vanish, leaving thousands of men isolated in hostile territory with no means of sustaining their positions. This is the true definition of a systemic crisis. The enemy's command structure is forced to watch the slow, agonizing starvation of their forces, completely unable to secure a single mile of tarmac. They try to adapt, using smaller decentralized transport methods, but the surveillance net is too tight. The scale of destruction on the supply routes has created a psychological barrier. Drivers refuse to move forward. Officers falsify reports to avoid the meat grinder of the roads, and the entire organizational hierarchy begins to splinter under the pressure of constant unseen attrition. To ensure the complete collapse of the enemy's offensive capability, they must be stripped of their sight. The modern defense does not just target the physical assets of the invader, it aggressively attacks their informational infrastructure. The electronic warfare and counter-reconnaissance operations conducted over the front have effectively blinded the enemy's tactical command. Their own airborne assets, their surveillance nodes, and their communication relays are being systematically hunted and forced out of the sky. A blind army is an army ripe for slaughter. Without real-time intelligence, their artillery is reduced to firing blindly into empty coordinates, wasting valuable ammunition that they can no longer replace. Their tactical commanders are forced to make decisions based on outdated maps and guesswork, sending waves of men into prepared kill zones without any understanding of the disposition of the defense. The shock in their headquarters is palpable. They are realizing that their vast military apparatus is entirely helpless when stripped of its technological eyes. This informational vacuum creates a cascading effect of failure. Panic spreads from the command bunkers down to the lowest infantrymen in the dirt. When soldiers realize that their superiors have no idea what is happening 500 meters ahead of them, all remaining discipline collapses. They are left entirely to their own devices, operating in a vacuum of terror, waiting for the sky to deliver the next strike. The defense controls the narrative, controls the sky, and controls the ultimate fate of every single element that attempts to breach the sovereign border.
The territory the enemy sought to conquer has become their collective tomb. There is a profound, suffocating weight to the landscape now. Every tree line, every ruined settlement, and every torn field is a reminder of their absolute failure. The initial arrogance of the invasion has been completely ground down, replaced by a raw, naked struggle for basic survival that they are losing on every front. The psychological breakdown is no longer a symptom, it is the dominant characteristic of the occupying force.
This is the inevitable conclusion of imperial hubris. An army that believed it could redraw borders through brute force and mass has been broken by precision, intellect, and an unbreakable defensive will. The machinery of the occupation is burning across thousands of kilometers, leaving behind nothing but charred scrap metal and nameless graves in the mud. The strategic crisis they face is terminal. There are no reserves that can fix a broken doctrine, and no amount of forced mobilization that can counter technological superiority. The rules of engagement have been permanently rewritten. The Ukrainian defense has demonstrated that a nation fighting for its survival can turn the very air, the very soil, and the very sky into an inescapable trap for the invader. Every single operation, every strike, and every cleared sector is a step toward the total liberation of our land. We do not stop, we do not hesitate, and we do not grant a single moment of respite to those who came to destroy us. The batteries are permanently charged, the systems are continuously locked on target. The vigilance of the defense is absolute, and the sky over Ukraine will remain an iron canopy that crushes any shadow that dares to cross it. The enemy wanted a war, but what they found was a relentless modern machine of absolute liquidation. This territory belongs to the heroes who defend it. Glory to Ukraine. Victory is the only outcome.